Where do I begin? First of all, what year are we in? Because I feel like at the end of 2019, I fell asleep. Somebody kidnapped me, put me in a DeLorean, and put me back in the 1960s, specifically the year 1967. Wow, we're here. We are here, people. So let's dive right into it, man. America, we have real issues, like real live issues. If you don't think so, then you might be the problem, like truly. Like, how do we resolve the issues that we have? Actually, I think I got a really good way to do it. Let me try this. White people, racism does exist. Black people, everything isn't racist. Boom, that should solve the problem, right? And wrong, because people don't want to talk. Well, actually, everybody wants to talk, but nobody wants to listen. That's the issue. Well, for everybody who wants to listen, I'm here to give you my perspective of this, because I feel like I have a very unique perspective, right? Number one, I am black in America. Well, I'm black, period. But in America right now, it's hot, son. It's real out here, and I'm black. Number two, I'm a police officer. Is that unique? Kinda, yes. But the third thing that you throw in there, I'm a hip hop artist. Some people will say rapper. I prefer the term hip hop artist, but it is what it is. I'll take it either way. So for me, when I see things through a different lens than most of America. Most of them. I see things through a different lens than most police. I see things through a different lens than most black people, right? And it's not only what I do now, but it's also my upbringing, right? So I'm black. You know, I grew up in a black neighborhood. There's a few white people scattered in there, but, you know, I grew up with my mom being incarcerated. My dad wasn't around. Thank God for my grandparents. I live 5 minutes down the street from the projects. But also, I went to a predominantly white high school. My grandmother made sure I was going to go to a predominantly white high school because she wanted me to get a better education. Hey, it is what it is. But this is why I see the world differently. This is why I got a different view on things. This is why when people talk, I actually listen. This is why I actually try to have a conversation, which I'm going to try to start with you today. So, here it is. The dichotomy of a black police officer, right? So, what led us up to this point? 2020 has been a crazy year so far, but we have so many things that's happened, like coronavirus. Why are we saying coronavirus? What does that have to do with white and black? Because it's driven people to be crazy, right? Like, you can't say, so it has some substance in what's going on right now. Then we had the TikTok incident that started. I feel like this is just what started the year off. We should have paid attention to it because this is what took us here, right? The TikTok incidents where the two college kids had nothing else better. Literally, everybody's on quarantine and lockdown, and y'all had nothing else better to do. With all the TV shows on Hulu, with all the movies on Netflix, with all the free PS4 and Xbox games out here, y'all ain't have nothing else better to do. Then we had the former cop that killed Ahmaud Arbery. Then we had the St. Paul, Minnesota incident. I know a lot of the country doesn't know about that. It's crazy, but it's damn near the same thing as Ahmaud Arbery, but the dude wasn't a former cop. Then we had the Louisville shooting, right? Then we had the Karen incident. And then here we had the most recent thing that set the world on fire. Well, U.S., my apologies. The Minneapolis, Minnesota thing. The Minneapolis Police Department. First of all, Minnesota, let me tell you something. I don't expect this type of behavior out of y'all. This is normally stuff that comes out of Florida. Y'all are really tripping right now. No disrespect to Florida. Y'all provide the country with the greatest entertainment in the world. You really do. But here's where we're at. And so when it comes to being a black police officer, I'm in a very tight situation. And I got to move cautiously, right? Wrong. I move the way I want to move. I don't care who's going to be mad. I don't care who's going to be happy. Why? Because I got my own thing going on here too as well. I got issues too, people. Right? You think at the end of the day when I go home and take off my uniform, all of a sudden I'm not black anymore? I'm still a cop? Wrong. When I walk into that Chinese store and go to buy me some, I don't know, Starburst, you think I don't get followed around the store? Hurry up and buy? It happens. It does. You know what I'm saying? It does, people. So, but let me talk about it. I'm going to talk about it from both sides. I'm going to tell you about the police side of things. Let's start there, right? Because I and all my black friends know, right? If you say anything bad about the police, we are going to have a conversation. And it's not like a bad conversation, like, nah. See, and the thing is, I don't want to have an argument. I just want to have a conversation. And unfortunately, some of my friends will be like, oh, no, I don't want to talk about it. All right, well, cool. If you ain't going to talk about it, then don't say anything bad about police around me, right? Because if I don't understand where you're coming from, then we're not going to have anything to solve, right? We're not going to have anything to stand on. So we just leave that alone. But for the ones that do talk, they know. I'm always like, well, what's your issue? Talk to me, right? Because there are issues out here. I understand them. Let's forget it. Let's just go straight to Minneapolis, right? I got sent this video by one of my police friends. I'm up playing Modern Warfare, Warzone, and somebody sent me this video, and he's like, yo, I think you need to check this out, son. I think the world's gonna go crazy off of this. Get the video on my iPhone. My iPhone just skipped straight to the last 25 seconds of him kneeling on the guy's neck. Nah, I'm telling you, people, stick with me here. I put the phone down. I said, nah, that ain't real. Ain't no cop in the year 2020 do no dumb stuff like that. Especially not after what just happened in Georgia with Ahmaud Arbery. Nobody did that. Especially not after the Louisville incident. No. Nah, get out of here. That's not real, son. Then I continued to play Warzone. I think we won a couple games that night. That's not even here or there. But the point being is I picked the phone back up. Watched this video. For some reason, my iPhone went straight to the last 25 seconds again. From my experience as a police officer, it doesn't matter. I don't need to see any more than that, because at that point, it doesn't matter. I seen what I needed to see. And in my mind, the first thing that came to my mind, it wasn't that this dude was a racist. It wasn't that he had bad police training. Or maybe he had good police training. Maybe he just didn't pay attention, because there are police that do that. They don't pay attention in these classes with training and stuff like that, right? The first thought was like, this fool just set us back a whole 60 years. You damn fool. Hell no. He really did. That, like, everything on top of what's happened, that was like all these, you know, those ingredients or certain things that it says do not use around flames. Well, all those were already gone. They were already in the pot, in the mix. And then the Minneapolis, Minnesota was the spark that set this explosion off, right? Yes. We all say, a lot of police say, oh, it's all for one dude. He was the spark. It's not really off of him. It's what this country is going through right now, right? So I can't sit up here. I'm going to get into some stuff, but I can't sit up here and say, yo, black people, it's all good. I do that, right? I'm telling you, I'm the one. I'm the person. Hey, yo, black people, it's all good. Reform's happening. Change is coming. But then I turn around and this happens and I'm like, oh, damn. And then I turn back and look at black people and they looking at me like, really, Negro? Really? And now I'm sitting here. Damn. Well, with nothing to say, because now I'm the a-hole, right? And let me explain to you, right? Let me explain this to you, okay? Because a lot of police like to do this. And they don't understand. You can't do this with black people, right? You can't tell black people reform and change is coming and then try to compare numbers that they're not going to understand. Not to say that black people are ignorant. Stick with me, everybody. Before y'all go and start tripping, listen first. Hear me out. If I go and try to explain something to black people like, hey, listen, we go to over 500,000 calls a day in the U.S. as police. And most of those calls end up very well. In black neighborhoods, most of those calls end up very well. Black people most of the time are treated with respect. No, you can't tell them that. You can't. Why? Because they're not going to see it from that side of the fence. Because they don't understand those numbers. Right? And why don't they understand the numbers? Because the only numbers they see are the numbers that they're going to get. Which is, I don't know, what has it been? 2 months, 2.5 months, and you got 4, 5 black people dead by the hands of police? We'll throw the Ahmaud Arbery one in there, yes, because it was a former police officer who still represents us. So you want to tell black people that it's okay? They're not going to hear that. Hear me out. I think I got a better way to explain this. Knowledge creates like our emotions, and our emotions create our reactions, right? So when we were all kids, most of us, probably all of us, were afraid of the dark because we didn't know what was there. Whether we thought it was the boogeyman, whether we thought it was like a killer clown, whether we thought it was a killer tooth fairy for black people, if we thought it was the candy man, you know what I'm saying? That generates our emotions, and then it generates our reactions to where we can't sleep at night. We need to do certain things to make us feel comfortable, right? So, as we get older, we learn that, hey, the boogeyman's not real. Or even if this killer clown does come in here, I know how to we can go hands on, son. He can get it. I'm good. Right? That's the things that you do to comfort yourself. But for black people, we're still in the young age, right? The kiddie age when it comes to reform, police reform. Because you can't tell black people that the killer tooth fairy police aren't out here. Right? Why? Because killer tooth fairy police are out here still killing black people. How you expect a black person to go home and sleep comfortably at night, cut off the lights and be in the dark when the killer tooth fairy is still out here? You can't tell them a bedtime story. It's not going to solve anything, son. That's what those numbers are bedtime stories. That 1 million people that we deal with on a daily basis that are okay, that's a bedtime story, because that one person that just got killed by the killer tooth fairy police is still out there, right? That happened. That happens. So when you try to go to explain that to black people, they look at you like you crazy, like, nah, son, this is real. And so this is what happens. And look, and this is how riots break out, because nobody knows how to explain this, what just happened. How do me being black, I can't explain the Minneapolis thing. I don't know how. I mean, what do you want me to say? Oh, it is what it is? Listen, I can't do that, son. I can't even defend you. I can't defend you. I can't defend any police department in the country that still has training modules like that. Now, I work for one of the greatest police departments. No, you know what? Take that back. I work for the greatest police department in the country. I worked for two before. I worked for two overall. Baltimore Police Department and now Seattle. And I'm going to tell you, Seattle, to me, like I said, this is my lens, my view, people. You have whatever opinion you want. It's the greatest police department in this country because, number one, they take reform very seriously, extremely seriously. I work with police officers that take training very seriously, right? Who take respecting citizens very seriously. Now, look, I'm not going to say every single Seattle police officer is amazing, because unfortunately, they're human beings that work on this police department, and well, you got stragglers. So while we're reforming and we're doing all this great stuff, you still got stragglers. And I hope and I pray that hopefully one day you stragglers do not embarrass the great department of Seattle Police Department with your nonsense. Now, look, there are things that happen, right? There are things that like black people will question because of things that happen. But listen, I would be here to defend. Yes, I'll be out here like, yo, black people, chill, y'all tripping. If it's correct, if you're correct, that had to happen for whatever reason. If black people mad at me, they're going to be mad at me. But I know what it is because I'm on the other side of the fence. But please don't embarrass us in the Seattle Police Department, whoever you are, who is out there and straggling and still wants to stay in the 1960s policing or be a racist or whatever you want to be. Please don't do that. There's too many good men and women on that police department. And we don't need to get another incident. We don't. Now, with that being said, though, there's two sides to every story, right? So, because the way I defend police is the same way I defend black people. And I like to use this example when I worked in Baltimore, right? So, like, I remember I had a lieutenant, and I'm working. This is summer of Baltimore. This is summer of 2013, I think. Yeah, it was 13. Actually, it was 13. 2013. I'm working Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Damn near one of the worst. Actually, I think it was the worst neighborhood at the time. We had like 50 homicides that year, and like a 3.3 mile radius. Yeah, but anyway, like over 200 shootings, something like that. But so these people want to have a block party, right? I roll up, yo, what's good? Hey, Officer Davis, how's it going? Chilling. I'm out here chatting with the people. My lieutenant rolls up, skirt. Yo, shut this down. Not having a block party today. White lieutenant, by the way. Been on a police department for like 29 years at the time, I think it was. And I'm like, yo, they don't have anywhere else to go. It's not like they have backyards where they can barbecue at. He says, listen, I'm not trying to be dealing with all these shootings today. Shut it down. I'm like, damn, you think black people can't have a good time without getting shot? And he looked at me. Stick with me, people. Don't trip out yet. Just hear what I'm saying to you. And he said, yes. And I'm like, damn, that's some racist ass. Whoa. I was taken back by it. I'm like, and I'm talking about, I'm pleading with them. Look, let them have the block party. It's good. I got it. Right? All right. It's on you, Davis. All right, cool. Right? So, I'm there, and I had to drive off because it was like a robbery or something at the pizza place up the street. And I'm telling you, people, this is like a true life story that happened. I drive up to the pizza place. As soon as I get there, shots fired at Luzerne. Now, when I go back, the lieutenant's standing there and he's looking at me, right? Now, this is the same exact way that with this Minneapolis, Minnesota, I'm trying to tell black people, I'm telling police, yo, it's all good. Black people can do this. We got this. We can have a good time without getting shot. Oh, damn. And now I look at police and they're looking at me like, really, Negro? Really? See? You see what I'm saying? So that makes me look like an a-hole on that side too. And that's not the only time that that's happened. Because the thing is that it happened a few times and I try to defend the black community, right? Because majority of the black community are workers, right? They're good citizens, right? They're trying to live their lives, right? We are trying to live our lives. But unfortunately, the few make us look bad when it comes to that. When it comes to black on black crime. Here's where I'm going. Here's where I'm going with this, people. We're going back. We're going back to the knowledge factor, emotions, and your reactions, right? We're going back to being afraid of the dark. So for this lieutenant who's worked in Baltimore for 29 years, whether or not he was racist, I don't know. But you got to see where he was coming from with that, right? That wasn't the first time it's happened before I got there, and it wasn't the last. It damn sure enough wasn't the first time that happened when he got there. So when police and black people try to have a conversation and y'all try to start comparing numbers of what you see, it's not going to make sense to the other side because they're not living on that side of the fence, right? So for a police officer that works there that didn't grow up in the neighborhood, right, and who, I don't know, this is not just Baltimore. Think about this. All over the country where police work in places where it's 700, 400, 600, right, 300, 200. Like, these are numbers across the country in these cities of black people that get killed throughout the year. So when you try to say don't compare police brutality deaths to black on black crime deaths, it doesn't make sense because you're talking to two different sides who see things two different ways, right? So in order for us to get a solution to understand what's going on, we literally gotta look at it from both sides. We have to. Because black people will sit up here and say, oh, well, you know, we protest the same way we do when police brutality with black on black violence. Black people, stop lying. Black people do go out there and protest. Yes, there are some. Listen, I seen it in Baltimore where there are people be going around knocking on doors. I know of known gang members and want to talk to them. So yes, they do. But do we do it in the numbers that we do it in police brutality? Absolutely not. No way. Not at all. That is just truth. If you can't take that, then just stop playing this video right now and just go listen to like 6ix9ine or something, son, because you don't want to hear the truth. But that's the thing. We got to understand where each side's coming from. If I can give you a different lens, right? So like I gave y'all my background already, right? I worked in Baltimore in a neighborhood with black people. So for me, it was easy, right? If they put me in a white neighborhood, it'd been easy too, because I went to predominantly white high school and I know how to translate. But when I got to Seattle, the first place they put me was Magnolia. Now, if anybody's ever been to Seattle, it is rich white people, which I've never, ever dealt with in my life up until that point. Never. I promise you, people, never. So for me, it was like I had to understand and start seeing through the lens when I started dealing with a whole bunch of like teenage white girls who lived in multi-million-dollar homes, who had vehicles like Audis and Mercedes-Benz. And I ain't talking about like a couple years old. I'm talking about the newest ones that they're driving to school every day. So I had to view through their lens of why the world was horrible and why they want to kill themselves. I can't come up in there and say, yo, son, it's all good. You're tripping. There's people out here that can't eat, can't sleep. You need to see the world in a different light. Because she's not going to see it that way. You're downplaying her situation. Just like if police give you numbers on police brutality, you're downplaying police brutality, right? The same way black people say, oh, well, you know what? Black on black crime isn't that bad because all people kill their own race. That's downplaying the crime. Like, you get what I'm saying? So if I go to a house in Magnolia and they got their Patagonia jacket stolen off their back porch, right? I make them feel like the FBI, the DEA, the CIA, and whoever else is going to come and get their jacket back. Why? Because if I try to convince them of any other way that they don't know, it's not through their lens and they're not going to understand it. That jacket doesn't mean anything. No. So what do? I go out my way to make sure that we can like at least try to find this jacket. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen, but hey, it is what it is. So with that being said, that's what needs to be done in the black community, especially when it comes to police reform. It is happening. It doesn't happen overnight, unfortunately. I talked about these stragglers. They're going to be here, people. These racist police are going to be here. I don't know why. All the reform in the world is not going to stop a racist police officer from getting into a police department. You say, well, change the hiring practices. What do you think you have to go through to become a police officer? You have extensive background checks, right? You have psychiatric evaluations. You have oral boards, right? I mean, oh, by the way, you have the polygraph, which is a lie detector test too. If people can get past that, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, you get what I'm saying? You're not going to stop a racist or a person that's not going to take this job seriously from getting onto the force by more reform, by changing up hiring practices. Yeah, you can change it up as much as you want. I'm all about changing hiring practices. I'm about it because there's still too many foolish people that come through. Right? But I don't know how. Like, I don't know what much more you can do. But police reform, I've seen it actually happening. And unfortunately for this Minneapolis, Minnesota incident, it took us back. Literally, the equity that we built in these communities. See, the reason why I'm saying this is because, so yes, you get people that complain. From my perspective, police out there, understand that people are going to complain. You can't make everybody happy, regardless. Deaths are very serious, though. You need to understand that, no matter what. But people are going to complain, right? If another coronavirus comes, somehow it's going to be police fault. If you standing by a 7-Eleven when it's closed, even though it closes at 10 p.m. and it's 11:30 at night, somehow it's your fault. You got to accept that. But the thing is that you got to understand that not everybody's going to be happy. But we got to go out of our way to try to make this happen. I don't know how. I really don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. I'm actually still trying to figure out how to get back to 2020, actually, or at least 2019, so I can wake up from this nightmare or dream. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, this is just my perspective. This is the way I see things. This is my lens. I'm not saying it's right. Maybe it's way off. Maybe it's crazy. But what I am saying, in order for us to go forward, you got to start looking at the view through somebody else's lens. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I feel like people aren't going to do that. I really do. It's crazy. Like, I feel like people aren't going to do that. I feel like we're going to be back here in 5 years. What is it? It's May. It's May of 2020. We're going to be back here in 5 years. Riots. You know what I'm saying? Protests. Police injustice. Why? Because even though people will start to come along and police will do good things, you're going to get some police officer that's going to do some dumb stuff again. Not questionable, dumb. Right? And then you're going to get people that don't want to listen and don't want to have a conversation, and we're going to be right back where we are. So yes, 5 years. Do I have faith in y'all? No, I don't. Matter of fact, hell no, I don't. Prove me wrong, people. Please, prove me wrong.